Noche UFC. Hola, me llamo Young Pasty, aka the whitest to do it. Okay? And I am here today to give you a pick and a prediction for every single fight on the card for Noche UFC. I am super pumped for this card. We get to see the elite fighting nerd Jean Silva try and, revenge some of the losses those guys had last week. And a bunch of other great fights on this card. Obviously, they stack the card with a bunch of Mexicans. So we got, David Martinez, Rafa Garcia. Who else on here? Tatiana Suarez, Jesus Aguilar. I mean, almost every dang fight has a Mexican on it. So, I'm super pumped for this card. And super excited to break down every single fight for you guys. Now, as we always do, I have to recap last week. Pulling the results up here right now for UFC Paris. And guys, gals, this was the worst week I've ever had. Okay, simply put. 5-8 on the picks. The fighting nerds let us down. I just had bad looks everywhere. I'm not gonna lie. Sean Abandon lost. Gustafsson looked like an idiot. Brad Tavares gets knocked out in the third round. Marcin Tybura had nothing to show for. I mean, it's just like, man, there was just something in the air. Finishes going off like crazy. I just happened to be on the other end of things, and it sucked. But I mean, it can't get any worse from here. Okay, that is rock bottom, and we are moving our way up. And we're going to have a good week this week, okay? For UFC Noche UFC. So let's get to it, okay? Let's pull the main event up here. And we got a good one, guys. Diego Lopes versus Jean Silva. Odds on the fight. Diego Lopes sitting at a plus 235 underdog. John Lord Silva sitting at minus 285. My pick for this fight, I'm going with John Silva. Going with Lord John Silva. I'm going with the last fighting nerd to not have a loss in the UFC. Okay, he's the last one who is undefeated in the UFC. I mean, this guy is he's passed every test on his way up. Fighting better guys every single time. And look, this is his biggest test yet. His biggest step up. Diego Lopes, a proven stud. This dude just fought for the belt, okay? Coming off a title loss to Volk where he had some good moments, almost knocked Volk out at one point. But, good lesson, good learning experience. Now, that's 5-round experience too. John Silva has not had 5-round experience. And honestly, that's my kind of only concern with this, is if we see this fight go in the later rounds. I mean, we haven't seen John Silva in a 4th or 5th round, so we don't know how he's going to fare there. But his first main event, he's excited for it. Just saw a little Instagram reel of him. He was, obviously crying, right, as he always does. Just seeing the poster of his main event, dude's emotional. He wants this. He loves this. Okay, I mean, this guy is nuts, John Silva. He's a maniac. Okay, he's a dog. He's actually he's just crazy. He will bark in your face as you're knocked out unconscious on the ground, okay? This dude is nuts, but he's confident. His striking is dynamic, fluid, powerful, quick. Low hands, don't matter, okay? Great movement, good movement around the octagon. He's faced adversity in his past fights, able to overcome them. Not afraid to take a hit either, And the submissions are live, as we saw in the last fight. I mean, obviously he's training with the fighting nerds over there. The jiu-jitsu is elite over there. Again, it's my concern with this fight is if it goes past round 3. I don't know how John Silva's going to fare. But what I'm calling right here, Diego Lopes is getting knocked out by John Silva. And it's going to be tough for me to see Diego Lopes hitting the mat and getting messed up. But dude, John Silva has those hands of fucking steel, dude. And Diego Lopes has a chin, right? But I don't think he's seen John Silva power, right? I don't know. What are his last 5 fights? Is Alexander Volkanovski hitting like Jean Silva? No. Brian Ortega? No. Dan Ige? Maybe up there, but couldn't find the mark. Sadiqa Youssef? No. Pat Sabatini? No. Like, none of these guys that Diego Lopes has fought in recent times, right, has John Silva power. Diego Lopes has some losses on his career, guys. He is 26-7. Okay, there's 7 losses. He has some losses by KO, so it's not like he has some steel chin, but he does have a good chin, okay? He can take a damn hit. I mean, he was one of these tough Mexicans, right? The neck tick, I don't know. I don't know if that's something to be concerned about necessarily in this fight, but I don't know. Maybe John Silva is picking up on it, maybe picking up on some timing. I don't know. But Diego Lopes, again, he's a proven stud, okay? Has a lot more fights in the UFC than John Silva. He's constantly moving forward, has good striking, has a lot of heart and a lot of courage. Good in the clinch, good on the fence, nice knees. And like he's pretty decent, honestly, when they're up close, right? And close exchanges there in the pocket. Like his boxing and striking is pretty clean there. He can grapple. He can wrestle. Well, honestly, we might even see him use this in this fight. Going to be bigger than John Silva. Problem is, though, with Diego Lopes, and you see it every fight, he is hittable, and he don't mind getting hit. But, I mean, when you're getting hit by John Silva, it's a different kind of, thud and hit than the people I just named off here earlier. So, like, Volk went to town on Diego Lopes in the last fight. He just leaves his head out there to be hit. Now, I do like the constant forward pressure from him, but like Silva, again, he moves around the octagon pretty nice, pretty fluently. So John Silva has some pretty damn good movement. I'm going to predict round 2 or 3 KO for John Silva. If it goes past the later rounds, it's probably going to be Diego Lopes taking over at that point. I mean, maybe a Diego Lopes 3-4-5 KO might be, like a possible bet for you bettors out there if that's something you're looking at. But at the end of the day, my official pick for this fight, for the main event for Noche UFC, John Silva knocking out Diego Lopes. Let's go. All right, next up, our co-main event of the evening, we have Rob Font, 38-year-old veteran, versus David Martinez, the Black Spartan. Odds in the fight minus 225 for Rob Font, plus 185 for David Martinez. I think those odds are a little bit different now. I'm reading these off Tapology, by the way. My pick for the fight is going to be Rob Font. Give me the proven UFC vet. Give me the guy who's rattling off wins versus youngins lately, okay? He has been fraud checking these people as of late. Kyler Phillips, Gene Matsumoto, that's just within the past year. And his losses aren't anything to be mad about. Figgy and Corey Sandhagen fighting for the belt. Figgy, I mean, that was 2 years ago too, you know what I mean? So, and then beating Adrian Yanez 2.5 years ago as well. Like, Rob Font is damn good. He's basically the only good one left out of the New England cartel. Like his gym, the New England cartel, those guys really aren't, pulling off wins, to be honest. But we see Rob Font getting a couple here, so Rob Font, good boxing, hands are crisp, power's underrated, and he's got good, hard striking. I like Rob Font in the striking department. Like when he connects, that shit is clean, that shit hurts. He has a pretty good chin, he's tough, he's gritty. Like, and overall, defensively sound on the feet, and if he gets taken down, and I don't know, that might be a possibility for David Martinez. He could maybe mix that in. And Rob Font, known to be able, he has suspect takedown defense. People are able to get him taken down and held on the ground for multiple times and rounds and minutes. So we've seen that before. And even in the past fights, like Kyler Phillips, John Matsumoto, both those guys were able to take him down. But he's able to, he doesn't accept it the whole fight, right? When they usually get the initial takedown, they're in pretty good position. But over time, Rob Font starts to take over. You're able to sprawl nicely. The strikes are coming through. They're not shooting as many takedowns. I think he's going to teach a vet lesson to David Martinez. And the age, a little concerning, right? Obviously, Rob Font, 38, David Martinez, 11 years younger than that. And what also concerns me is the chin of Rob Font. I mean, David Martinez, this dude is a young power puncher, man, right? Now, obviously, this is a huge step up in competition, fighting Simon Oliveira now to Rob Font, like really big up. Only the second fight in the UFC. And that's my concern with Rob Font is the KO. But he's shown me he's able to weather storms, weather the first round, maybe might even drop here the first round, as he's done previously in these other fights with these youngins. But he comes back and wins the second and third round easy, puts on a lot of damage and wins them handedly. But like I don't know, David Martinez, I think his path to victory is going to be a KO, and he's not bad. He's not a bad fighter, right? Got a like bouncy up and down movement, karate background. He is usually on the back foot, but that's just kind of his style. Rob Font will be pressuring. Heavy leg kicks David Martinez has, and I think that if he throws a lot of these leg kicks to Rob Font, and Rob Font ain't checking them, that they could add up. That could add up and help him in that fight there. He can also throw him up to the head too, and super quick. Like I think David Martinez probably got a little bit of a speed advantage, but Rob Font's still quick too at 38. Rob Font got power, and yeah, again, don't sleep on Rob Font here. And he's the favorite, by the way. But ultimately, why I picked Rob Font here was that Contender Series fight that David Martinez had with Xavier Franklin, which, he showed me decent cardio in the fight. I'll give him that, but I think it exposed his hit abilities. Xavier Franklin was definitely landing quite frequently in that fight. I think Franklin at least won round 2 in that fight, and I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say he won the fight, but it was close, okay? I will say it was a close, and he gave David Martinez a run for his money. But again, Rob Font's going to weather the storm of David Martinez. He's going to win round 2 and round 3. David Martinez going to get a little tired. He's going to be like, oh, crap. My punches aren't actually knocking this guy out. I'm going to have to fight him all 15 minutes. And Rob Font's going to take it by decision. He's going to teach a vet lesson to David Martinez. So Rob Font, by decision, is my official pick for the co-main event. Let's go. Okay, moving on to our next fight, the featured fight on the main card. And if you guys haven't, or if you are new, please click that subscribe button. We are on the road to 400 subscribers here. I give you guys free picks and predictions every week. I give you guys free bets and parlays every single week. So again, if you could click that subscribe button for me. We're on the road to 400. Your support goes a long way. Anyway, the featured fight on the main card, we have Jared Flash Gordon versus Rafa Garcia. Odds on the fight, minus 275 for Jared Gordon, plus 225 for Rafa Garcia. My pick for this fight is going to be Jared Gordon. I slept on him hardcore in his last fight versus Thiago Moises. He's coming off an impressive win versus him. And overall, I think the experience that Jared Gordon has, I think he's fought better fighters than Rafa Garcia has, honestly. And now he finds himself being the bigger fighter. Usually he's the smaller fighter. He's actually going to be bigger than Rafa Garcia, who actually is known to be shorter in this division here. Rafa Garcia coming off a win versus Vince Michel. He's younger. He's 31 years old. Jared Gordon's a little bit older than him. These guys have kind of similar styles, right? And what's with Rafa Garcia only fighting older guys, okay? Past 3-4 fights here, all the fighters are older than 37. Jared Gordon, who else did he fight? Freaking Clay Guida. Vince Pichel. All these guys are, older for UFC. Rafa Garcia is mostly a striker, but if he gets taken down, he really don't have any answers. Jared Gordon, I think, has the wrestling and grappling advantage. I think he can utilize it better than Rafa Garcia. I think Jared Gordon has more power in his shots. I think his striking is better than Rafa Garcia's. And one thing I don't like about Jared Gordon, though, is no matter who he fights, people will land on him. Okay, Rafa Garcia is going to land on Jared Gordon. Garcia's got some decent counters. Okay, so when we see Jared come in first, Rafa Garcia is going to hit second. But the problem with Rafa Garcia, his arms are short, his legs are short. He has these like lunging hooks and shots and kicks that miss and whiff all the time. That's why he has good counters, because he can't even reach the opponent that he's fighting. He's not really good at closing distance, and people can put him on the back foot, pin him up on the cage, and unload shots. And I think Jared Gordon's going to do that from time to time. I watched the fight with him and Danny Chavez, the Jared Gordon versus Danny Chavez fight. And if you guys haven't seen that, go run that back, because I think that's a really good comp fight for Rafa Garcia here. And you could see Jared Gordon kind of getting hit at times and almost kind of losing rounds, but he'll take one to give one. He'll take one to give four. Jared Gordon's tough. He can eat a shot. He's not chinny. And when people land on him, he'll land right damn back. And usually he has the better of the exchanges when people are landing right. But again, I really recommend you guys go watch the Jared Gordon versus Danny Chavez fight. I think that fight's gonna be really similar to this one. And I think Jared Gordon's gonna come away with the win. I think he gets the win by decision. It's tough for me not to say he gets the KO after that freaking win versus Thiago Moises, but Rafa Garcia is tough. He's going to decision with a lot of people too. Same thing with Jared Gordon. So Jared Gordon by decision. That is my official pick for the featured fight on the main card. Let's go. All right, next fight we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Odds on the fight -240 for Kelvin, +205 for Dustin. My pick for the fight's going to be Kelvin Gastelum. Give me the big blob. Even though he made weight last time, okay? I think he takes this fight by decision. I think he has some pretty good striking with some decent power behind it. He has probably the best chin in UFC history, right? I would say. But I think the size of him, the striking, and when he's locked in, really good head movement. When he's locked in, pours out the volume. When he's locked in, his striking just looks nice. So I hope he comes locked into this fight, right? Got that Mexican background, even though he's fighting out of the USA. Takedown defense can hold up. I'm not really concerned about Dustin Stoltzfus getting those. We've seen him go 3 rounds. We've seen him go 5 rounds. Kelvin Gastelum, come on. He's fighting way better people than Dustin Stoltzfus. And record aside, right? Again, Kelvin's fighting the much better competition than Dustin is. And Kelvin's still pulling off wins against people who I would say aren't like crazy elite, right? Okay, past 5 fights, he has wins versus Chris Curtis and D-Rod. I think Dustin Stoltzfus is kind of in that range of, quality, right? I think he's on that range of that. That's how good he is. And Kelvin Gastelum has enough to beat those kinds of fighters. I've never really been high on Dustin Stoltzfus, to be honest with you. Stoltzfus' best win is against Pfeiffer on the freaking Contender Series, right? I think that's his best win if you look at it on paper. Now, initially, prior to his past couple fights, I thought Dustin Stoltzfus was chinny, but bam, his last fight with Ruzaboyev really showed me he can take a punch and go all 3 rounds. Even though Dustin Stoltzfus is hittable, he's not chinny. He's got good counters. He can mix in the grappling, and honestly, he's pretty decent on the ground. But good luck taking big blob Gastelum down, to be honest with you. Dustin's not good in brawls. I'd say Gastelum has the advantage there. Stoltzfus has good kicks. Decent gym too, fighting out at Extreme Couture, but will definitely be on the back foot. Kelvin will be the one pressuring. I think Kelvin lands the bigger shots. I think Kelvin lands more shots. Possible KO, I don't know. Kelvin Gastelum really hasn't shown crazy power. He has decent power. He can land pretty good, but he's not laying people out. You know what I mean? I think that if he's locked in, makes weight, and looks good out there, I think he can take this. Kelvin Gastelum by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight. We have Santiago Luna, the border boy, versus Quang Bang Lee. She bangs. Odds on the fight, +100 for Santiago Luna, -115 for Quang Lee. My pick for this fight is going to be Quang Lee. Santiago Luna's a youngin', man. He's 21 years old. This is his first fight in the UFC. He only has 6 fights total, okay? And then prior to that, only a 3-0 amateur career. Now, I did watch some tape on Santiago Luna, obviously. Looks very comfortable in the octagon, man. Comes in with confidence, has some pretty decent takedowns. They're not really the most technical. He just kind of gets people on the ground somehow. But he does mix in grappling pretty frequently. Has some pretty decent power. Skipped Dana White Contender Series just straight to UFC. Where's he fighting out of? bunch of different places. The UWC, Lights Out, Tough Enough. Find out of a lot of organizations here. And on it, the cardio is not bad. Actually, you would think, sometimes there's a kind of cardio suspect, like, I don't know, with these newcomers coming into the UFC, but he has round 3 finishes and he's not looking tired at all come the 3rd round. So Santiago Luna, I mean, he's a pretty raw young fighter that's doesn't have too many fights and is actually okay. But I'm picking Quang Le because he's older. He has 3 UFC fights now under his belt. That UFC experience goes a long way. I mean, you're fighting Chris Gutierrez, who you go the distance with, a tough KO loss for Chao Long, and then now you revenge yourself with an impressive win over Bolaños. And like great ground skills. I honestly did not see that type of dominance coming from Quang Le on the mat that he did with Bolaños. So, former LFA guy Quang Le is, who honestly he was fighting some bums in Minnesota. So, prior to the UFC, sometimes people just have it, you know what I mean? I think Quang Le has it. He has some decent hands, mixes in kicks. I mean, honestly, his power overall is pretty nice. He will be the pressuring fighter, I think. I think we'll see Santiago Luna maybe try to pressure at the beginning, and then Quang Le's going to get some shots in, and we'll see Santiago Luna on the back foot. Like, Quang Le's a fucking scrapper, dude. This guy's tough. Cardio's decent. Like, yes, he can get taken down at times, but he finds his way back up to his feet. So I anticipate Santiago Luna probably landing a takedown at some point. But I think Quang Bang Le can get back up. But I favor the UFC experience, and I think the high level competition that he's been fighting, rather than Santiago Luna, is gonna do him wonders here. Like, Santiago Luna ain't beating people that are UFC caliber, bro. Like, the records of Santiago Luna's wins are not impressive. So, yes, he has some flashy highlights and stuff. Yeah, he's fighting out of Tijuana, you know what I mean? So he's got that tough Mexican soul. What I do see, though, Quang Bang Le coming out again with his grappling and wrestling. I think he's going to show it off again. I think he's going to show complete dominance on the ground once again. Give me Quang Le by submission. Yeah, guys. I think Luna's going to get overzealous with his takedowns. I think Lee's going to flip it, reverse position, and get him into a spot that he's never been in before and lock up a sub somehow, some way. So Quang Le by submission once again. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Okay, moving on to our next fight. We have, coming back quick, Alexander, the Great Ape Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. Odds on the fight here, minus 160 for the Great Ape, plus 125 for Diego Ferreira. My pick for this fight is going to be Alexander Hernandez. Man, he just fought 3 weeks ago. That's crazy. Look, I really wasn't high on Alexander Hernandez in this 3-fight win streak that he's had, but he's honestly resurged his career with it. So props to you, my boy. I thought he lost his fight with Austin Hubbard. I thought Austin Hubbard won that fight. He did beat Kurt Hallbaugh, and obviously he beat Chase Hooper with an impressive knockout. Now he's 8 years younger than Diego Ferreira. Ferreira's 40 years old. He's Brazilian, though. He's tough. He was originally booked versus Bobby Green a few weeks ago, Diego was, but now tougher matchup in Alexander Hernandez. Alexander Hernandez, takedown defense is nice. It's solid. This should be a striking match here between these two. And, Hernandez is serviceable, man. Good striking, good grappling, thick, big guy for the division. Stats say these guys are the same size, but you'll see it. You'll see it. Like, Alexander Hernandez is just much bigger than Diego Ferreira. He's just looked great, Hernandez has. Coming off 3 wins and that KO versus Hooper, it was impressive, man. But don't sleep on Diego Ferreira. Even though I didn't pick him, let's go over him. He is a little bit hittable. Tends to start a little bit slow at times, but he does have heavy hands. I love those Brazilians. He's tough, and he won't quit. He's not a quitter. And I like people that don't quit. His reach is actually underestimated. Diego got some really long arms. Mixes in feints, kicks frequently, and mixes in body work too. He's a little bit lower volume, but throws bigger shots, right? But he's inactive. Not really fighting a lot. Has grappling and subs, but I doubt that he'll use it or that it really even will be effective at all. I don't see him taking down Alexander Hernandez. I don't see him subbing up Alexander Hernandez. I do like the cardio, though. I think Ferreira can go all 3 rounds. He went a hard 3 with Rebecca and then got a finish at the end. Like, if Diego Ferreira wins this fight, I think it's by late finish again. I do, because Alexander Hernandez comes out hot, comes out strong. He's not chinny. He's not getting KO'd in the first round. I don't think so, unless Diego Ferreira just finds that clean shot, and anybody can at a point, right? But Alexander Hernandez, the serviceability, youthfulness, quicker, stronger, bigger. I got to roll with the momentum here. Alexander Hernandez, I think he gets it done by decision. How long is Diego Ferreira going to be fighting, man? He's 40 years old, dude. And his KOs versus Michael Johnson and Rebecca were nasty, and they're still highlight reels. So I like Diego Ferreira, but this ain't it for him. Alexander Hernandez by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Alrighty, next fight, our featured prelim, and we are scraping the bottom of the barrel for the division here. Like, these guys suck. Jose Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. Odds in the fight plus 250 for Medina, minus 310 for Dusko. My pick for this fight is going to be Dusko Todorovic. Jose Medina has really bad takedown defense and has no get-up game whatsoever. We've seen Dusko Todorovic at least take people down and hold them on the ground. That's what's going to happen here with Jose Medina. I mean, Jose Medina was getting held and body on the ground by fucking Zach Reese. Like, come on now. Everyone thought Jose Medina had the chin of steel until he got knocked out by Atiba, which, I mean, he's still smiling while he's getting knocked out. It's crazy. But the Jose Medina KO is not out of the question, because Dusko Todorovic has a fucking glass chin. Like, this dude gets KO'd by damn near everybody. Hey, went 3 rounds of Zach Reese, okay? I'll give you that. Didn't get knocked out. Like, Dusko's supposed to be the better fighter here. Actually has some okay jiu-jitsu, too. Top control, the wrestling, the grappling, like, this is his time to use it. Like, don't be striking with this fool. Don't, because you're probably just going to get clipped and knocked out. Dusko has a lot more UFC experience, fought better competition than Jose Medina, but been getting ran through by all of them. Like, just don't strike, right? Just wrestle, get some ground and pound in. Maybe you can get a finish on the ground. Jose Medina sucks, man. His striking's not that good. Like, this guy lost on Dana White Contender Series and still ends up getting a contract. I don't know how this happens. And it's not like his fight on Dana White Contender Series was like super impressive. Jose Medina has a puncher's chance. I'll give him that. So, who's really the worst of the worst here? Jose Medina definitely is. Am I going to bet on this fight? Dude, damn sure not. You can avoid a lot of fights on this card to bet on. This might be one of them. Might go on a long shot parlay, but not a fucking unit play. I'll tell you that. Dusko Todorovic by decision. I think he just bodies Jose Medina on the mat for 3 rounds. Gets the win there, 30-27, maybe even 30-26. So, Dusko Todorovic by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight on the card, we got Claudio Puelles, the Prince of Peru. Okay, I like the nickname though. Versus Joaquim Silva, Neto BJJ. Odds in the fight, plus 115 for Claudio, minus 140 for Joaquim Silva. That's definitely wrong. Let me get you updated odds. Okay, back with the updated odds. Puelles is a minus 115 favorite. Silva is a minus 105 underdog, so almost at a pick 'em here. My pick for this fight is going to be Claudio Puelles. Now, I'll just say it right off the bat. Claudio Puelles is takedowns or bust. If he cannot get takedowns, it's over. Because Silva has some very, very disgusting power in his hands and is the much better striker than Claudio. Claudio Puelles is terrible on the feet. Like, he's just not very good at striking at all. This guy is Hamzat without striking. Like, he shoots for takedowns early. Like, not Hamzat, like, within the first 10 seconds, but definitely within the first 30 seconds. You're going to see Claudio Puelles shooting for a takedown. Been fighting in the UFC since 2016, just not too active. And he's actually the younger fighter here at 29. Joaquim Silva's 36. Claudio's just been fighting since he's super young. Like, how much has his striking improved since the Ferris Ziem fight? I couldn't tell you, man. And he probably lost that fight because even though he does get people onto the ground and has very good top control, he doesn't inflict any damage at all. He's looking for subs, but couldn't find one for first Ferris Ziem. But yeah, Claudio Puelles not looking for damage on the ground. He's looking for subs. Like, this dude will even pull guard to, like, snag an arm or leg to get shit on the ground. Decent control on the fence, which ultimately he uses to try to turn into takedowns. Like, oh man, his striking is so bad. It's literally just evasive. Like, after this fight, this dude should literally just go to UFC, BJJ, or just grappling matches. Like, that's your specialty, man. But if you have any holes or flaws in the ground game, Puelles will expose them and take advantage of you. He may gas himself out till the third round. One thing I'll say is Joaquim Silva, third round KO, is very, very live. Okay? Cardio is very good from Joaquim Silva. He can actually turn it up in the third round and look better than he did in the first two. So, now comparing resumes, Joaquim Silva is fighting the much better competition in the UFC. Again, he has much better striker. Power is disgusting. Lots of kicks that he throws out. He's very good when he's the pressuring fighter and dictating pace. But the constant grappling and wrestling threat from Puelles, like, he's not going to accept striking. He's just going to look to clinch and hold you the whole time. And I was like, okay, let me look back at Joaquim Silva's history. Let me see all the grapplers and wrestlers that he's fought and, how he fared with them. So, most recently, Arman Tsarukyan. Took him down twice. Had success. Once was off of a wobble where Joaquim Silva damn near ended the fight. Arman got wobbled, dude. If Silva would have followed up with shots and didn't get taken down, he might have won that fight. So, next, 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. I know I'm going very far back here. Glyco Franco subbed him in the first round. Got one takedown, bodied him on the ground, turned it into a sub pretty easy. And then lastly, he got taken down by old man Clay Guida. Now, he still won the fight, right? But not a good look to get taken down by Clay Guida. So I look at those three fights and I'm like, man, I gotta roll with Claudio Puelles, because if these people are taking him down and getting success there, I mean, I imagine Claudio would. So, but if Silva can last till the third round and Puelles starts gassing out, third round KO from Silva is live as fuck. So, I'll say this with a grain of salt. Puelles by decision is my official pick. But look, Silva by KO in the third round, maybe even the second round, damn, sure, even maybe in the first round, is live as hell. So, that's my official pick. Let's go. All right, next fight on the card, we have Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. Odds on the fight minus 425 for Tatiana Suarez, plus 330 for Amanda Lemos. My pick for this fight is going to be Tatiana Suarez. This girl has elite grappling and top control. Okay, if she's able to take you down, game over. All right. Coming off a loss, hard 5 rounds with Zong. Amanda Lemos also fought Zong in 5 rounds. And I compare the two fights, right? Tatiana wins 1 round, is able to hold and do her thing in the first round, and is able to avoid the takedowns in another round too. But Amanda Lemos got bodied on the mat for 5 rounds straight. Tatiana at least found a little bit of success, right? She didn't get ragdolled on the mat and held down like bad by Zong. So that kind of worries me here. Tatiana was going to be an Olympic wrestling champion. Girl had thyroid cancer, beat it. But again, takedown or bust, right? Tatiana Suarez can't secure takedowns. I don't think her striking is going to win her this fight here. Like, this is a striking match. Amanda Lemos has it, dude. And Amanda Lemos is clean on the feet, has some really solid power. People sleep on her. I picked her in the last fight versus Lucindo. And, again, she won that fight. Another concern or issue I had with Amanda Lemos was her fight with Jandiroba. Jandiroba was able to find success and take her down and hold her there. Now, I will say, Amanda Lemos ain't just going to sit there on the ground, right? She can scramble, she'll try to get up, and she can have success and find her way up at times, maybe even try to flip position. But Tatiana, this girl's fucking big. She's thick. She's huge, right? She's going to be much bigger than Amanda Lemos. She's just so elite with the wrestling and the grappling and her skills on the mat. Like, Amanda Lemos, definitely a better striker. Tatiana Suarez, definitely a better grappler and wrestler. At the end of the day, I have to favor the grappling and the wrestling from Suarez, because Amanda Lemos has shown in the past versus previous fighters who she's lost against. That's the way to beat her. Get her on the ground, because her striking's dangerous. So, Tatiana Suarez for the win. I got her by decision. I don't think she finds a submission over Amanda Lemos. If she does, that would be crazy and would be very entertaining. But I got her by decision. So, Tatiana Suarez, decision. That is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Okay, next fight on the card. We have Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Gurule. Odds on the fight, we have plus 165 for Jesus Aguilar and minus 195 for Luis Gurule. My pick for this fight, give me the underdog. Give me Jesus Aguilar. Give me the tough, fun, flyweight Mexican. Dude has a nasty gilly. And we've seen it in almost all his fights. Gilly is nasty. You get sucked up into that thing, good luck, boy. He's gone up against taller people before. Found success, found wins. Luis Gurule is going to be a tad bit taller than him. Like, Jesus Aguilar is usually the smaller fighter. And, that's not really a surprise or anything that he's going to be really too worried about. Nice control on the fence. Mixes in the wrestling and the grappling. Jesus Aguilar's downfall has been takedown defense. Constantly finds himself on the ground, on the back, getting taken down. But, these flyweights, man, he can find his way up to his feet sometimes, right? But he's a solid striker. Popping his shots. Right overhand's nasty. Heavy leg kicks. People are counting Jesus Aguilar out in this fight. I think they're giving Luis Gurule too much credit. Now, I do like Luis Gurule, and I did pick him in the last fight. And I do think if he would have beat O'Day, I probably would have came into this fight with a little bit of a different mind. But that was not a good look, right? Looked good in the first round. They got completely starched by O'Day Osborne. Like, Luis Gurule, this dude's like a little mini Sean Strickland with some grappling and wrestling mixed in. Nice kicks, constant forward pressure, constantly in your face. But he's very hittable. And he's been dropped before multiple times in his fight. Been taken down before multiple times. Quick and easy, actually, on his Dana White Contender Series fight. Like, I like Luis Gurule. I do. And I thought he was going to have a lot of success here in the UFC. But they're giving him a tough follow-up after that O'Day Osborne fight. Like, Jesus Aguilar, this dude's very live to win. Power in the hands. I don't think the wrestling's going to be involved too much in this fight. I think it's probably just going to be mostly a striking affair. But if anyone's going to find the finish, I think it's Jesus Aguilar, man. Dude's tough as hell. I think maybe some quick feints and exchanges in the wrestling on the Aguilar side you could see. Nothing too lengthy. But I think he finds a nice overhand or a good counter shot in the pocket that just lays Gurule flat on the ground. Maybe even a club and sub. So I'm going to take Aguilar, and I'm going to take him by KO. Maybe even a later round KO. Could find a decision win too, because Luis Gurule is pretty damn tough. But I think people are sleeping on Jesus Aguilar. He's sitting there at solid plus money. So if you bettors out there are looking for a good underdog, I think Jesus Aguilar is a good one this week. So Jesus Aguilar by KO is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Moving on to our next fight on the card, we have Reese versus Sedriques Dumas. Odds on the fight minus 275 for Reese, plus 230 for Dumas. My pick for this fight is going to be Reese. And look, Reese, keep the game plan simple. Take Dumas down. You're much bigger and stronger than him. I think you can do that. I think you can hold him there on the ground. Like you did it with Dusko. You did it with Medina. Do it with Dumas. Dumas don't really have the best takedown defense. Like he's getting taken down by damn near everybody, right? And he can get hit real bad and follow it up on very, very easy. And Sedriques Dumas as of late, I mean, come on. Have you guys heard all the stories? If not, I'll kind of just sum it up for you. Dude's constantly getting arrested. Has the most arrests in the UFC. I think he has like 15 arrests. Like, dude is so unfocused, it's unreal. His last arrest, robbed his ex-girlfriend, and then ran to some other house and hid in a dog cage. Yeah, hid in a dog cage from the police. That's how they fucking found him. Dude is, again, just so unfocused. Like, they should call him Sedriques Dumbass. Because what are you doing? He's posting pictures on Instagram. I only have $20 in my account. This is the struggles of fighting. Shut the fuck up, dude. No. You're out here spending all your money on legal fees. Okay? Yeah, there's going to be a sense of desperation coming from Dumas, but I don't think he has it here, man. Zachary, again, keep the game plan simple. Take him down. If it does stay on the feet, Zachary Reese is solid on the feet. Great kicks. I love the kicks from Zach Reese. They are nasty and they hit hard. Nice elbows, good knees. Striking is overall pretty decent. And honestly, jiu-jitsu and subs. Zach Reese has shown that is something that's in his back pocket. So, I mean, that could be live too. Maybe a Zach Reese by finish. Ooh, I don't know. But Zach Reese is chinny. If Sedriques Dumas finds the mark somehow, he could lay out Zach Reese. Like, the Dumas striking ain't bad. Like, it's a little bit rangy, and his jab is really good when he throws it, but he doesn't fucking throw his fucking jab. He's going to be the same height as Reese, but Reese is just going to be much more bigger in proportion. Just a big guy. How does Zach Reese win this fight? I'm going to say by decision. Zach Reese by decision. I think he gets, like those two past fights I named off, like the Medina fight and the Dusko fight. I think he's just going to keep the game plan simple, strike for exchange for a little bit, secure the takedown, hold him down, and win rounds. So Zachary Reese by decision, that's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Man, guys, we got a bunch of freaking fights on this card. I mean, nothing I'm complaining about, just a lot of talking here today. So we have Alessandro Costa versus Alden Correa. Odds in the fight, minus 400 for Alessandro Costa, plus 300 for Alden Correa. My pick for this fight is going to be Costa. The UFC experience, has 4 fights in the UFC. And, I mean, a power puncher with slick jiu-jitsu, like, what a great combo. And his losses, you really can't give him too much grief for, like losing to Urseg and beating him in a round, and a loss to Albazi. Like, not too much grief I really can give him for losing those fights. Like, that's some high-level competition. And honestly, both those fights went to the third round. Albazi didn't knock him out in the third round, and he found success in both. So, but he beats everybody else. I mean, who else did he beat? Jimmy Flick, and coming off a win against Kevin Borjas. So, I mean, some pretty solid wins. Now, it has been a year since Alessandro Costa has fought, so something to note there. Pretty similar in age, 29 and 27, but this is Alden Correa's UFC debut. Who the fuck is this guy, Alden Correa? He's a tough guy, fighting out of Fury, LFA. Shown some power in his hands. One of the fights he had to turn to a freaking no contest because he was smoking weed. That's kind of stupid as fuck, but all his losses Alden Correa has, he's 10-3, right? All his losses come by decision. If he can't get the finish, he usually doesn't get the win. He only has 2 decision wins out of his 10 wins. He does throw out a good amount of volume, which I like. But man, I like Costa because of the UFC experience. I think his movement's better. I think his power's better. I think Alden Correa is stepping up to a level that's way too high for him at this point, right? This should be a striking match. If anyone's going to initiate the grappling, Costa's going to initiate it. It's just, the movement's too nice. The volume, if Costa pours on the volume, that will help him a lot in this fight. But his striking is just too nice, too crisp, too powerful. Nice heavy leg kicks. And again, he's got the jiu-jitsu too. Like, people sleep on that. Even though he has heavy hands, he can take you down and submit you too. That's not out of the question. So I like All in Korea and what I've seen from him in his fights, but I just have to roll with Alessandro Costa. So Alessandro Costa by KO. He's going to get another one here. He's going to show this guy that the UFC's got some levels here. And, I think Korea is a Mexican. Is this the Mexican guy? It is. But yeah, Alessandro Costa by KO. That is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Alrighty, guys. Our last fight we're breaking down. And the first fight of the night. Two ladies going at it to start the night off. We have Alice Pereira, the Golden Girl, versus Montserrat Rendon, the Monster. Odds in the fight minus 205 for Pereira, plus 175 for Rendon. My pick for the fight is going to be Alice Pereira. Now, if you're wondering, I'll clear it up. No, this is not Alex Pereira's sister. I got excited too quick when I saw the name. It's Eileen Pereira, and it's just one letter off, and it's the wrong girl. So, Alice Pereira, who the fuck is this girl, right? 19 years old. Just started training 3 years ago. Already a mommy. Okay, you know what that means? She needs and wants this money. She is 5-0. I think that may be the smallest record we've seen in the UFC, minus maybe like Bo Nickel. 5-0 coming in the UFC? No Dana White Contender Series fight? I had trouble even finding film on this girl, right? Like, I watched part of her 25-minute title fight. It's recorded on a freaking iPhone. Like, she's fighting in malls and shit, right? But what I do like, 25-minute fight before your UFC debut, it means your cardio is pretty dang good, right? Now, when it comes to her wins and the people that she's beaten, her last win was, like, okay. Samara Santos, she is, like, okay. But these other people she's fighting, I mean, come on now. 0-1, 1-6, 0-0, 2-0. Not fighting people with really any experience at all. But on the flip side, right, if you're looking at Rendon, her come up too, like the people that she fought, 2-1, 3-2, 4-4, 7-1. Lost to Daria Zelezniakova here recently. And that fight was very telling because if you guys know Daria Zelezniakova, she's a very tall, lengthy, rangy Russian striker, right? Alice Pereira, if you haven't seen her, she's super tall, dude. She's very tall for this division. And she's training with the fighting nerds here recently. I saw her training with freaking Jailton Almeida. So she's getting in some good training work with some pretty good people. Has some nasty KO power. If you watch her highlights, she's just laying girls out in all her finishes, right? And again, had some pretty solid outing in that 25-minute fight. Got some takedowns, secured some takedowns, was better on the feet. But one thing I haven't seen from Alice Pereira is her takedown defense. Like, that's never been tested at all. I think that's Rendon's path to victory here. Because she had problems at range with Daria. She may have trouble with how big Alice is. In a technical striking match, like, that's not going to suit her well. Like, her striking isn't bad, but, like, I don't know. I think the hype on Alice is really real. What Rendon needs to do is clinch, use the fence, grapple, secure takedowns, make it dirty. Like, I could see her riding out a three-round decision win, securing takedowns and controlling Alice Pereira on the mat because she doesn't know what to do. But even taking down Daria, couldn't hold her down. Daria was able to get back up. Like, is Alice Pereira really that dumb on the mat? She's training over here with some of the fighting nerds, Jailton Almeida, Kaio. You know what I mean? Like, Rendon's probably going to be on the back foot on this fight. Now, Rendon's not, like, the most powerful fighter, but, like, she can accumulate damage over time with volume, and maybe even, again, she secures takedowns or gets her on the clinch. Get some elbows in, get some ground and pound in. But I'm going to believe in the hype here. I'm going to believe in the hype of Alice Pereira. I think she gets it done. The UFC wouldn't sign this girl, 19 years old, coming out of Brazil for no reason. She's got it. All right, give me the golden girl, Alice Pereira, and I got her by KO. Yep. She's going to come in here, pull off a nice highlight for herself to introduce herself to the UFC, get the upset over the Rendon, who is over Rendon, who is the Mexican here and will be the person the crowd is rooting for. But But I think we're going to see Alice Pereira come onto the team hot with a KO. So Alice Pereira by KO is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, guys. That is a pick and a prediction for every single fight on the card. Again, if you have not, please click that subscribe button down there. We are on the road to 400 subscribers. Yeah, I know we had a terrible week last week, okay? But that is rock bottom. We will only go up from here. We're going to have a good week this week for Noche UFC. Bets video comes out on Thursday. Again, if you haven't, Patreon's free. Links in the description. That's where you can see all my bets when I place them. I don't put my bets in a minute or two before the video comes out on Thursday, right? I put them in earlier in the week. That way we get the odds when they're good. So see my bets when I place them. Subscribe to the Patreon. It's free. Noche UFC. Let's have a good week this week. Young Pasty, out. Adios, amigos.